1. Trump's new 25 to 40% tariffs on 14 countries, economic impact and August 1st deadline. 2. Trump announces new 40% tariffs on multiple countries, what it means for global trade. 3. Trump extends reciprocal tariff suspension, trade policy update 2025. 4. Trump extends tariff deadline to August 1st, 40% duties threaten on multiple countries. 1. Trump's new 25 to 40% tariffs on 14 countries, economic impact and August 1st deadline. In a bold move that could reshape global trade dynamics, President Donald Trump has declared that starting August 1st, a hefty set of tariffs will be imposed on imports from 14 different countries. This announcement, made amidst a backdrop of fluctuating financial markets, has sent ripples through international economic circles. But here's where it gets controversial. The rationale behind these tariffs and their potential impact on global trade relationships are hotly debated. On April 2, 2025, in a picturesque setting at the White House Rose Garden, President Trump, chart in hand, first introduced what he referred to as Liberation Day tariffs. These were initially set at varying rates for different countries, reflecting the US's attempt to address trade imbalances. Fast forward to now, and Trump has taken to social media to unveil a series of form letters sent to the leaders of countries like Japan, South Korea, and Malaysia, among others, detailing the new tariff rates. These rates range significantly, with Japan and South Korea facing a 25% tariff, while Laos and Myanmar are looking at a steep 40%. The letters suggest that these tariffs could be adjusted, hinting at a dynamic approach to future trade negotiations depending on each country's relationship with the US. This move has not only caused a downturn in US financial markets, with significant drops in major indices like the Dow Jones and Nasdaq, but it also poses a stark challenge to the countries affected. The letters explicitly warn against any retaliatory tariffs on American goods, suggesting that such actions would only escalate the situation. And this is the part most people miss. The broader implications of these tariffs extend beyond immediate economic effects. They touch on geopolitical relationships and the strategic positioning of nations in a globalized economy. The controversy doesn't end there. While Trump champions these tariffs as necessary corrections to unfair trade practices, many experts argue that trade deficits are not inherently detrimental and question the effectiveness of tariffs as a tool for economic balance. The debate is further complicated by a recent court ruling striking down Trump's reciprocal tariffs, although an appeal has allowed them to temporarily remain in effect. As we delve deeper into this complex issue, one must wonder, are these tariffs a bold strategy for fair trade, or could they be a misstep with far-reaching consequences? What do you think? Share your views in the comments below. 2. Trump announces new 40% tariffs on multiple countries, what it means for global trade. Imagine waking up to a world where the cost of your daily essentials has skyrocketed overnight. This is the harsh reality that American consumers may soon face, as President Donald Trump has announced new tariffs of up to 40% on a growing number of countries. But here's where it gets controversial. The tariffs are not just a simple tax on imported goods, but a complex web of trade policies that could have far-reaching consequences for the global economy. And this is the part most people miss. The tariffs are not just about protecting American industries, but also about negotiating better trade deals with other countries. In a bold move, Trump has fired off letters to the heads of several countries, informing them of their new tariff rates, which range from 25% to 40%. But what's interesting is that Trump has also extended the deadline for these tariffs to take effect, giving countries until August 1st to negotiate new trade deals. Japan and South Korea, two of America's largest trading partners, will face a 25% tariff, while other countries such as Malaysia, Kazakhstan, and South Africa will face tariffs ranging from 24% to 40%. But why is Trump doing this? The answer lies in the trade deficits that the United States runs with these countries. Trump believes that these deficits are a result of unfair trade practices, and that the tariffs will help to level the playing field. However, critics argue that the tariffs will only lead to higher prices for American consumers and hurt the very industries they are meant to protect. For example, the tariffs on cars and auto parts from Japan and South Korea could lead to higher prices for American car buyers. And what about the impact on the global economy? The tariffs could lead to a trade war, where countries retaliate against the United States with their own tariffs, leading to a decline in global trade and economic growth. But here's the thing, Trump is not backing down. In fact, he's doubling down on his trade policies, saying that the tariffs will be separate from all sectoral tariffs, meaning that they won't be stacked on top of existing tariffs. This has led to a decline in stock prices, with the Dow closing lower by 422 points, or 0.94%. So, what's next? Will countries negotiate new trade deals with the United States, or will they retaliate with their own tariffs? The answer remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the tariffs are a wake-up call for the global economy, and it's time for countries to take a hard look at their trade policies. As Trump said, these tariffs may be modified, upward or downward, depending on our relationship. So, we have to ask, what do you think about the tariffs? Do you think they will help or hurt the American economy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And this is the question that everyone is asking, will the tariffs lead to a trade war, or will they help to negotiate better trade deals? The answer is complex, and it's time for a nuanced discussion about the impact of trade policies on the global economy. 3. Trump extends reciprocal tariff suspension, Trade Policy Update 2025. Navigating the complexities of tariff modifications, a critical update. In a world where trade dynamics can shift overnight, understanding the implications of tariff modifications is crucial. The recent extension of reciprocal tariff rates is not just a bureaucratic maneuver, it reflects a significant response to ongoing economic challenges. But here's where it gets controversial. How do these changes impact our national security and economic stability? Background context. As outlined in Executive Order 14257, issued on April 2, 2025, the United States is facing a unique and pressing threat due to substantial and persistent trade deficits. These deficits, which have been a source of concern, are largely influenced by factors outside our borders. Recognizing this, I declared a national emergency to address these challenges, implementing additional ad valorem duties deemed necessary to protect our economy. Section 4(c) of the same executive order states that if any trading partner makes significant efforts to rectify non-reciprocal trade practices and aligns more closely with U.S. economic and national security interests, I may adjust the Harmonized Tariff Schedule of the United States, HTSUS, to reduce or limit the duties imposed. This provision highlights the potential for negotiation and cooperation in international trade relations. On April 9, 2025, I issued Executive Order 14266, which temporarily suspended the application of additional ad valorem duties for certain foreign trading partners listed in Annex I of Executive Order 14257. This suspension, however, does not apply to the People's Republic of China, PRC. Instead, a 10% additional ad valorem duty was imposed on products from these trading partners, reflecting their willingness to engage in discussions about U.S. national and economic security concerns. This temporary suspension is set to expire at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on July 9, 2025. Recent developments. After careful consideration and based on new insights from senior officials regarding ongoing discussions with trading partners, I have decided to extend the suspension initiated by Executive Order 14266 until 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on August 1, 2025. It's important to note that the separate tariff suspension related to the PRC, established by Executive Order 14298 on May 12, 2025, remains unchanged. Modifications to tariff rates. Effective from 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on July 9, 2025, the HTSUS will undergo modifications. Specifically, headings 9903.01.43 through 9903.01.62 and 9903.01.64 through 9903.01.76, along with certain subdivisions of U.S. Note 2 to Subchapter 3 of Chapter 99 of the HTSUS, will be suspended until 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on August 1, 2025. This change is significant as it directly affects the consumption of goods and their associated tariffs. Implementation strategy. To ensure the effective execution of this order, the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and the United States Trade Representative, in collaboration with other key officials, are tasked with taking all necessary actions. This includes the potential temporary suspension or amendment of regulations and the adoption of new rules or guidance as needed. Each department and agency is expected to contribute to the implementation of this order within their respective authorities. General provisions. It's essential to clarify that this order does not undermine the authority of any executive department or agency. Furthermore, it does not create any enforceable rights or benefits for any party against the United States or its entities. The costs associated with the publication of this order will be covered by the Office of the United States Trade Representative. Final thoughts. As we navigate these complex trade waters, it's vital to consider the broader implications of these tariff modifications. Are we truly addressing the root causes of our trade deficits, or are we merely applying temporary fixes? I invite you to share your thoughts on this matter. Do you agree with the approach taken, or do you see potential pitfalls? Let's discuss. 4. Trump extends tariff deadline to August 1st, 40% duties threaten on multiple countries. Get ready for a potential resurgence of trade war tensions as President Donald Trump threatens to impose hefty tariffs on key U.S. trading partners. On Monday, Trump announced that he would extend a crucial tariff deadline to August 1st, while also threatening new duties of up to 40% on certain countries. The drama unfolded around noon when Trump released letters to Japan and South Korea, warning them of 25% tariffs, with even higher rates for goods suspected of being transshipped through their territories. Transshipping involves transferring goods from one mode of transport to another, and Trump had previously hinted at these 25% duties during his unexpected Liberation Day speech on April 2. Later in the day, Trump escalated the situation by threatening tariffs as high as 40% on products from Laos and Myanmar, 30% on goods from South Africa, and 25% on items from Malaysia and Kazakhstan. These tariffs would be enforced under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, though their implementation is currently under judicial review. The markets reacted negatively to the mixed signals from the White House over the weekend, with the S&P 500 index dropping by up to 1% after Trump's letters were posted on Truth Social. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt later confirmed that Trump would sign an executive order to extend the tariff deadline to August 1st, reflecting the ongoing uncertainty that has characterized his trade policies. This back-and-forth mirrors the chaotic period following Trump's April 2nd speech, which led to one of the most significant market sell-offs in history. Despite initially backing down from immediate tariff impositions, the president's unpredictable approach has kept markets on edge. As the new deadline approaches, Trump has made it clear that he expects countries to start paying tariffs by August 1st. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent attempted to clarify Trump's stance, emphasizing that the president is focused on the quality of trade deals rather than their quantity, though specifics remain vague. So, what lies ahead? White House spokesman Kush Desai told the Wall Street Journal that all trade decisions will come directly from Trump, meaning the situation remains fluid. To date, Trump has announced limited new agreements with the UK and China, and a brief statement on a deal with Vietnam. On Sunday, Trump hinted at additional tariffs for countries aligning with the BRICS bloc, which includes Brazil, Russia, China, and India, though his reasoning was unclear. Despite the uncertainty, some analysts believe the renewed trade tensions may not significantly impact the U.S. economy. Capital Economics noted that while the tariff chaos could pose challenges, it is unlikely to dampen investor enthusiasm for U.S. equities. However, they also warned that the situation could complicate the Federal Reserve's efforts to manage interest rates, which remain high due to inflation concerns linked to the tariffs. In conclusion, Trump's unpredictable trade policies continue to create a volatile environment for global markets. What do you think? Will these new tariffs benefit the U.S. economy, or are they a recipe for further chaos? Share your thoughts in the comments below.